Good morning and good evening. So good morning in Italy, in Bologna, and good evening in Fiji, in Suva, in the University of South Pacific. So today we have a match between two teams in the Inter-University Law Debate Tournament 2026, 9th edition. So this is the 8th of final match, so round of 16 match, between the University of the South Pacific and the University of Bologna. So these two teams will be debating on topics they received a week ago. They qualified from the group phase in two different groups, and now they will try to gain, of course, a seat among the quarter-finalists in 2 weeks from now. So first we'll ask them to introduce themselves, and then we'll move to the match itself. So I'd like to give the floor first to Mr. Johnny Normani. Welcome.
Can you all hear me?
Yes, with little echo. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, everyone. My name is Chanino Mani, and I am finally a law student here at the University of the South Pacific. I just want to wish everyone all the best and hoping we all enjoy this match. Naka.
Thank you, and welcome. We have as well on the side of Bologna Mr. Alessandro Roberto March. Welcome.
Yes, good morning, everyone. I'm very happy to be here. My name is Alessandro Marsh. I'm from South Africa, and I'm doing my Master in Legal Studies at the University of Bologna.
Thank you. Welcome. We have as well Miss Bhavna Mala in Fiji.
Hi everyone, my name is Bhavna Mala and I'm finally a law student at the University of the South Pacific as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Welcome.
We have as well in Bologna Miss Maria Vittoria Soldatelli Silva Bastian.
Oh, good morning, everyone. I'm Maria Vittoria Soldatelli. I'm also doing my master's at the University of Bologna, where I am also an associate editor of the Bologna Law Review and a lawyer in my home country of Brazil. And it's a pleasure to see all of you. And I hope the match is going to be very nice for both sides.
Thank you and welcome. We have as well Miss Catherine Mahima Singh in Fiji. Welcome.
Hi everyone, I'm Catherine Mahima Singh. This is my final semester of LLB studies and it's really nice to meet you and wishing everyone the best.
Thank you, welcome. And we have as well Miss Chira Noshkan in Bologna. Welcome.
Hi everyone, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm also doing my master's degree in legal studies at University of Bologna, and I'm a lawyer in my home country, Turkey. And again, it's a great pleasure to be here.
Thank you, welcome. And we have as well two coaches in the room, among all the coaches for these two teams. So I give the floor first to Mr. Shivendra Nath in Fiji. Can you see me and hear me well? Yeah? Welcome.
Welcome, everyone. I wish you all the best for the match. Nice to see everyone, and hopefully this match goes well. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Perfect, thank you. And we have as well Miss Guleka Nildis, former participant and winner of last year.
It's so nice to be here, and I wish all of you best luck, guys.
Thank you, welcome. And we send greetings as well to the other coach for Fiji, Miss Adi Salaseini Gonelivu, who participated in 2022, if I remember well, into the competition as debater, and as well the former debaters of last year for the team of Bologna, winner as well, Mr. José Antonio Molinelli and Mr. Mahmoud Bayramov. So the topic which was sent last week was governments must allow cross-border data transfer subject to equivalent safeguards. So now I will share my screen for the allocation of the position, and you will see on WebEx and on YouTube a wheel. So this is a wheel for the possibilities of the positions concretely. So there are two positions possible for this match, to be in favor or to be against the motion. The team will be in favor, will be starting the match with the first introduction. For this match, the University of the South Pacific will be against the motion. As a consequence, the University of Bologna will be in favor of the motion, and we start the match with the first introduction. So now you will have 5 minutes to review your notes, and then we hear the introduction from the University of Bologna. So we are done with the 5 minutes of preparation. So before we start the match, I remind everybody, and as well as the audience, that when you will see a yellow card on my screen, it means the speaker has still 30 seconds to finish the speaking time. And when you see the red card, it's the end of the speaking time. The team may finish a sentence, but it's advised to not start another one, otherwise the judge might penalize. So now I give the floor to the team of Bologna for your introduction. You have 4 minutes.
Honorable judges, we stand before you to defend the motion. In our global digital economy, data has become a critical resource, the new oil, some would say. And this does expose individuals to risks of surveillance and misuse of personal information. But we have to recognize that we live in a deeply interconnected world in which communication, commerce, or even the exercise of fundamental rights depend on the movement of data across borders. And once safeguards are in place, government cannot justify unreasonable obstructions. Our position rests on 3 points. So first, restrictions on cross-border data transfers must satisfy the principle of proportionality. Second, the assessment of whether safeguards are genuinely effective is possible through the principle of essential equivalence. And third, once these safeguards already exist, government restrictions become as a disguised form of digital protectionism. So first, we shall defend that restrictions on data transfers must satisfy the principle of proportionality. Rights such as privacy and freedom of expression, regardless of frontiers, as per Article 17 and 19.2 of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, depend also on the movement of data across borders. And if we consider the principle of proportionality, it happens that a limitation on rights must be necessary and genuinely meet an objective of general interest. And this was precisely the rationale of the Court of Justice of the European Union in the Digital Rights Ireland case, which used proportionality, so Article 52.1 of the European Charter of Fundamental Rights, to invalidate the Data Retention Directive, which required providers to retain communications data about virtually everyone, regardless of any wrongdoing, because it went beyond proportionality. But this is not to say that no protections must exist. In fact, our second argument is that the assessment of whether safeguards are genuinely effective is possible through the principle of essential equivalence. And here, the General Data Protection Regulation becomes a blueprint. Article 44 establishes that transfers to third countries may take place only if a long list of conditions are complied with, so that the protection guaranteed by the regulation is not undermined. And this was actually complemented by the CJEU in the Schrems 2 case, that the required standard is a level of protection essentially equivalent to the GDPR. And that assessment must consider not only the transfer instrument itself, but also the legal and institutional system of the destination country. So yes, genuine protection can be achieved through equivalent safeguards if we know how to do it. Finally, blanket restrictions on transfers also risk a practice of digital protectionism rather than genuine protection. The World Trade Organization does allow for restrictions to protect the privacy of individuals in relation to personal data, as per Article 14(c)(2) of the General Agreement in Trade and Services. But as a WTO appellate body explained in the US gambling case, this article requires a two-tier analysis. First, the measure must fall within one of the listed exceptions. And second, it must still be able to satisfy the chapeau, which prohibits arbitrary or unjustifiable discrimination between countries where similar conditions prevail, as well as disguised restrictions on trade and services. To conclude, once cross-border data transfers are already being protected through real and effective safeguards, then further restriction ceases to be necessary and becomes an unjustified barrier. For these reasons, the motion must stand. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So now I give the floor to the team of the University of the South Pacific for your introduction. You have as well 4 minutes.
Thank you very much. Honorable judges, distinguished colleagues, we meet today not to deny that data flows, but to question whether governments should open those channels under the illusion of equivalent safeguards. Every second, Information crosses borders. Medical records, climate telemetry, financial algorithms. Yet behind these flows lie risks that no safeguard can truly contain. The negative submits governments must allow cross-border data transfers merely on the promise of equivalence, because what looks equal in theory collapses in practice, leaving citizens exposed, regulators powerless, and justice fragmented. International law encourages cooperation, yes, but never blind trust. Article 17 of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights protects privacy as a right, not a tradable asset. Article 19's freedom of information is limited by the duty to prevent harm. The Convention on the Rights of the Child demands health cooperation, but also confidentiality. The Paris Agreement promotes climate data exchange, yet its uneven enforcement shows how asymmetry undermines fairness. Equivalent safeguards presume identical enforcement across unequal jurisdictions, a presumption international law never makes. Courts have shown that safeguards fail under pressure. In Digital Rights Ireland of 2014, the Court of Justice struck down the Data Retention Directive because oversight was ineffective. In Schrems 2 of 2020, the EU-US Privacy Shield collapsed under systematic surveillance. Wellen and Rowe and Sorrell and IMS Health exposed how commercial interests distort privacy. The lesson is clear. Safeguards fail not in design, but in enforcement. Regulation meets reality. Europe's privacy model stands as a global benchmark. The General Data Protection Regulation of 2016 and the EU-US Data Privacy Framework show real commitment to trust and accountability. Yet even these advanced systems reveal how hard true equivalence is to achieve. Enforcement varies, cooperation remains uneven, and consistency across borders is still elusive. Smaller nations must therefore approach this challenge with caution and realism. The Cybercrime Act 2021 of Fiji criminalizes unauthorized access and interception, with penalties up to 10 years. Yet once data leaves Fiji, these penalties lose force. Section 23 allows transborder access with consent, but consent is meaningless when foreign actors operate beyond reach. Liability becomes diplomatic, not judicial. Breaches are punished only if the offender is local, a loophole global corporations exploit daily. Research echoes this concern. Domesticating the foreign in making transatlantic data privacy law warns that importing foreign standards erodes autonomy. EU's turn to strategic autonomy highlights geopolitical tension when regimes clash. Upholding democracy amid the challenges of new technology cautions that unchecked flows empower surveillance and disinformation faster than law can respond. These are not theoretical fears, they are documented consequences. Our team line is firm. Governments must not allow cross-border data transfers merely under the promise of equivalent safeguards. Cooperation without enforceability breeds exploitation. Safeguards without sovereignty invite intrusion. The vision of openness risks a world where privacy is traded for convenience and accountability dissolves at the border. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now we are moving to the rebuttals. We start with the first rebuttals. I give the floor to the University of Bologna. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you very much, honorable judges and esteemed opposition. So we have to face one key fact, and the opposition mentioned it. The fact that global data already moves through states. The GDPR reflects this in Articles 44 to 49. It explicitly permits this under safeguards such as standard contractual terms and binding corporate rules. Now, we also see this in the case law, in Schrems 2, mentioned by the opposition. We see that we have the standard of equivalent protection. I like what the opposition said. We need to make sure we don't fall into the illusion of equivalent protection. Where do we actually see equivalent protection in other states? Well, the law has never been an exact science. It's never been about perfection. It's about guiding principles. Now, I refer to an academic called Anu Bradford, who described this as the Brussels effect. Perhaps now we don't see the most unison protection we'd like to see in the world, but by making sure other states are required to abide by the principles we set out in things like the GDPR, we ensure that we move towards global protection. So the courts and the law say global data moving around like this is necessary, and it is necessary. Between the US and the EU alone, annually, about 1 trillion euros is traded in digital services. Now, when we inhibit this because we have fears about consent and safety and privacy, we're not attacking those companies. We're attacking the normal people, the small and medium-sized enterprises that use those services to engage in modern society. So I ask the esteemed opposition, what is the alternative? When the law and the facts say these data transfers are necessary and they provide the requisite safeguards which guide us towards a global protection necessary, what is the alternative when we get rid of this current framework? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we hear as well the first rebuttal of the University of the South Pacific. You have as well 2 minutes. You can open your microphone. Yeah.
Can you mute yours?
Yes, we can hear echo as well. You have to close the speaker from another computer.
Honorable judges, I will respond directly to the claims raised in the previous rebuttal. The affirmative relies heavily on the argument that global data already moves under mechanisms like Articles 44 and 45 of the GDPR and standard contractual clauses, right? But that is precisely our point. That existence of transfer mechanisms does not prove that governments should be compelled to allow transfer. It shows that where states choose to permit transfers, they do so conditionally and revocably through discretion, not obligation. Articles 44 and 45 are permission structures, not mandates. Second, the affirmative suggests that law has never been about perfection and that repeated failures simply show enforcement at work. But this understates the harm. As we showed, frameworks like Safe Harbor and Privacy Shield operated for years before being struck down, during which time citizens' data was exposed under systems later declared incompatible with fundamental rights. When harm is irreversible, the fact that a court eventually intervenes does not cure the violation. Discretion protects on day one. Compulsion waits for litigation. Third, the appeal to the Brussels effect and global convergence misunderstands inequality, requiring other states to move towards EU-level protection assumes they have the institutional capacity, resources, and enforcement reach to do so. Many do not. Calling this progress does not change the reality that equivalent standards are defined by powerful blocs and compiled with by weaker states at significant costs, or not at all. That is regulatory pressure, not reciprocity. Finally, economic scale, including trillion euro figures and claims about ordinary people being affected cannot override rights protection. Data protection law is not a cost-benefit exercise. When data leaves a jurisdiction under compulsion, governments lose the ability to fully protect the very people the affirmative claims to defend. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we are moving to the second rebuttals. So I give the floor first to the University of Bologna. You have as well 2 minutes.
Thank you very much, honorable judges. The opposition just said that states are not obligated or not compelled to ensure data travels globally. They are in fact mandated to protect human rights. We absolutely agree with this claim. Let's look at these human rights. We have human rights, for example, in the EU Charter of Fundamental Rights 7 and 8, privacy and data. Those rights need to be protected. But there are other rights which need to be protected too. Rights such as autonomy. And what does autonomy mean in the modern world? Autonomy means expressing yourself, determining yourself, and participating in modern society. Now, right here, right now, we're using the services we're speaking about to have this debate. And we're allowed to do that because these laws should protect our autonomy to do so. The GDPR reflects this balance. That's why we reference the GDPR, because it says we need to protect data transfers because they're important, but we also need to subject them to other human rights, such as autonomy. And how do we do this? Consent. So the opposition might like to say consent. Which consent? It's a formal box. We tick yes or no, terms and conditions, and it's not real consent. Well, we're in danger of doing two things here when we take this tact. Now, the first thing is we risk patronizing users. We risk patronizing the very people in all states all across the globe that may need access to this. But more fundamentally, we risk excluding them from modern society. This is a point we've made before, but there's no getting away from it. If we want to express our human rights, we have to express them not just physically in the real world, but digitally, a world that's become far more real than the other. And so I ask the opposition again, how do we protect rights online if we don't follow the safeguards provided for in these pieces of legislation and treaties? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we hear as well the second rebuttal from the University of the South Pacific. You have as well 2 minutes.
Can you all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Thank you. Honorable judges, the affirmative waives the EU Charter and autonomy rights as if compulsion protects freedom. In reality, compulsion destroys it. Consent reduced to a formal box is not real consent. It is bureaucracy, masquerading as choice. Citizens tick a box, data flows abroad, and governments lose the power to protect them once it leaves their jurisdiction. That is not autonomy, that is surrender. They want exclusion from modern society. But exclusion is not caused by discretion. It is caused by frameworks that demand compliance with standards designed in Brussels or Washington. Small states are not empowered by being forced into those systems. They are silenced. Sovereign discretion allows governments to decide when cooperation is genuine and when it is exploitative. The affirmatives model risks permanent harm. Once health records or biometric data crosses borders under equivalent safeguards, they cannot be recalled. No clause restores privacy once breached. Sovereignty is the only safeguard that works in real time. The choice is clear: hollow consent and imposed standards or genuine autonomy and protection. The negative stands for sovereignty, accountability, and the right to say no. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So now we are moving to the conclusions. So I'll give the floor first to the team of the University of Bologna. For your conclusion, you have 2 minutes.
Honorable judges and esteemed colleagues, the question before us today is simple. In this digital age, do we view the flow of data across borders as a threat to be strangled by digital isolationism, or as a global lifeline to be governed by rigorous standards? The opposition pictures strength cases as a tool of fear, but honorable opposition couldn't serve any other specific solution as well. We, however, do not see it as a dead end, but as the dawn of active accountability. Schrems 1 and Schrems 2 taught us that data must not move in a void. It must travel only when protected by genuinely equivalent safeguards. We're not advocating for paper protection. We're advocating for a system governed by institutional supervision and constant vigilance of civil society. The opposition claims we're sacrificing individual privacy for the state. This is a false binary. The real issue is ensuring that private corporations do not operate in a lawless void, unchained by the standards of our society. By mandating equivalent safeguards, we're not empowering by the standards of our society. By mandating equivalent safeguards, we are empowering the state to censor. And we are determining the state as the standard setter. When consent and safeguards are the bedrock of these transactions, the state's duty is not to choke the flow, but to ensure it remains safe. Honorable judges, trapping data does not protect it. It only pushes it into the shadows of unregulated markets. We propose a path of managed integration. For this reason, allowing data transfers subject to equivalent safeguard is not just a choice, it's a necessity of the modern world. For this reason, we believe governments must allow cross-border data transfers subject to equivalent standards. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Now we hear as well the conclusion from the University of the South Pacific. You have 2 minutes as well.
Honorable judges, the affirmative insists data must not move in a void, that they're improving and determining movements. But that is precisely the danger once data leaves a jurisdiction under compulsion. Governments lose the ability to monitor or remedy misuse. Improvement is not protection, it is experimentation with citizens' privacy. They claim movement is progress, yet every framework they cite, Safe Harbor, Privacy Shield, even the EU-US data privacy framework collapsed under the weight of surveillance powers and conflicting laws. Citizens were exposed during these years, not protected. Sovereign discretion is the only mechanism that shields people immediately, without waiting for courts to strike down broken promises. And let us be clear, data does not move in void. It moves into systems dominated by powerful blocs. Equivalent safeguards mean standards set in Brussels or Washington, imposed on smaller states with no voice. That is not inclusion, it is hierarchy. Honorable judges, the choice is stark. The affirmative offers paper shields and perpetual collapse. The negative offers sovereignty, accountability, and the right to refuse unsafe transfers. That is not obstruction. It is justice and is the only real protection citizens must have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we just heard the two conclusions, so from now you are not under evaluation by the judge. So we just got your debate, so now we'll move of course to the traditional part of your impressions, your feedback on the topic, the motion, and we finish with a bit of knowing a bit more about yourself and your university and your countries. So yes, so you can brief. So it is time now to collect your impressions, and as well I will ask afterwards as well to the coach. So I would like to ask first Mr. March, what did you think about this match, the topic, and the preparation itself?
Thank you. This debate was very interesting, very relevant, and the research. It felt like there were a lot of hidden gems in the research we had to find, and it seems like the opposition most certainly found those. So it was a very good debate, tough debate, and I enjoyed the real back and forth that we had on key points in the rebuttals.
Thank you very much. Mr. Normani, what do you think about the match?
It was a very, very good match. Now that we're on this stage of the competition, it gets more intense as we go forth. We were a little bit hesitant, conscious of the fact that all of our opponents are way above our qualifications, but that didn't stop us from doing all our research. It's quite a very new topic for us. Fiji is not that developed in terms of mechanisms or safeguards that deals with transboundary access of information. So it's quite new for us, but it was a learning experience, and I'm grateful for that.
Thank you very much. Miss Soldatelli, what do you think about the match?
Well, once again, I think the topic was extremely complex, and as everyone else said, there are so many paths that one can take trying to defend or oppose this motion. And I was actually very impressed by how the opposition actually was able to find specifically very similar arguments that we did for our opposition part. So I feel like we were kind of connected in this sense. And once again, extremely tough match. But yeah, the competition does not disappoint when it comes to topics of studying.
Thank you very much. Miss Bhavna Mala, what do you think about the match?
I also agree with my team captain here, but I thought that the match was really engaging. And also both of the teams had some strong arguments. And yeah, I really appreciated this match and I look forward to the next matches. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And same question now for Miss Oshkan. What do you think about the match?
Well, I agree with my colleagues. This was a very important subject and it was a living topic. It's a very brand new one also. and I had the chance to work in that field as well. For me, it was very interesting to study for the debate. And but I'm from Turkey, so I know that this is not working well in practice. So it was hard to find different arguments and case laws and stuff. But it was a pleasure to debate on that topic. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. Miss Mahima Singh, what do you think about the match?
Hello, everyone. I felt we did well in grounding our arguments in law and human rights, even though the opposition sounded very reasonable. I think our autonomy definition was strong, but we can improve by varying our phrasing and tightening rebuttals. Overall, I'm satisfied. We held our ground. The topic is it's important, but it was pretty boring. I enjoyed this match. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now I will give the floor to one of the coach, so the coach on the side of Bologna already.
For me, the match was so intense. It was so hard to follow sometimes because both team, I guess, did great job. They were always coming with new ideas, and in one point, I missed who rebut which argument. I literally missed it because the ideas were great, literally. And also, from my point of view, I was listener in that match, and I enjoyed literally because you were coming really interesting and sometimes complicated ideas, but I really like it. I'm sure that you were kind of maybe stressful, but from outside, it was very good match. Congratulates all of you.
Thank you very much. And Professor Shivandranath, what do you think about the match?
Well, first of all, as FIJ Island, this was something new for us and for our students, and especially these are final year students who have, I think, I'm very proud of what they have achieved so far in the tournament, and the way they tackled this topic was quite great, incredible. Knowing that this is a concerning issue and this is something that we do not deal with every day. But regardless, the way that they came up with the points, the way both teams challenged each other was very incredible, and it was quite intense. And I'm happy that we have learned so much from this topic, and we'll move forward from here. And I'm just proud of all the individuals who have taken part and made this a very into a collaborative learning effort from both sides. So thank you so much, Vinaka.
Thank you very much. So now we'll move to the last part of the session, which will be to know a bit more about the participants and their teams and university. But just before, I would like to give some information as well for the audience. So you're watching a match between two teams who are very experienced in the competition. The University of the South Pacific have participated already 4 times in the competition, Bologna 5 times, so this is the 5th participation now for Bologna and 4th for the University of the South Pacific. In total, USP won a 12 match before this match, in total in the whole history. 16 match on the side of Bologna, and they are currently having for USP the third 8th finals, round of 16 match. This is the third time, and the 5th time for Bologna. So now we'll ask each team to give me some answers to 2 questions. So one is what opportunity, program or initiative your university, so on one side Bologna, on the other side South Pacific, has most contributed to your development as law student for your legal education. So we start with University of the South Pacific. Could you tell something about your university which you consider is extremely important from your point of view in your legal education? So something allowed, organized by your university. So I give the floor, for example, to Miss Mahima Singh.
Well, I think our lecturers, our coordinators, especially our head of school, has contributed a lot. So we are given our own private times to prepare for this match. And it's actually really nice to see that our coordinators are always pushing us. And we even have USP has so many activities. We have past sessions, we have other competitions, and our lecturers are always there for us. And I mean, Mr. Shivendranath is always giving us allowance and he's telling us, eat, you guys study too much. And we really appreciate our lecturers, even though it is, we don't have much, but whatever we have is enough.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Do your colleagues want to add something? So Miss Mala or Mr. Normani, who wants to answer? One of you can add something if you wish.
Um, yes. So we've had mood competitions, we've had debate competitions, and it has really helped a lot. Because be confined to the four corners of the wall, and every day you learn about the law, and the law changes every day, right? So you're trying to focus on one thing, and then suddenly your lecturer, your tutor says, "Oh, this has changed," or "This has passed," and you're like, "Wait, I'm not yet done learning this." So being able to participate in moods and also in debate competitions here at USP has really shaped how we've come um, in this competition, and also prepare us for what it is out there in the legal field. And I think that my colleague Miss Mala would like to add some things as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I also wanted to talk about the same thing that Mr. Chone has said, but I'd like to add on that not only does law school have moot competitions and debates, but we also have other law-related stuff like international stuff. We recently had the UNFCCC negotiations. Yeah, that one, and we also do like visits to the House of Parliament and to the SG and AG's office. Just take students and learn about what is going on out in the real world. Yeah, I think that's all.
Okay, thank you very much. Same question to
Thank
the
you.
team in Unibo, the University of Bologna. So same question. Who wants to answer?
Well,
Yes.
I think I can start with answering. Well, University of Bologna is a historical and an old university, so we have the opportunity to have a lot of international students during our masters, and I think it's the same for bachelor's degree as well. So it's an environment that you can be close with other cultures. Like even in our team, Alessandro is from South Africa, Maria is from Brazil, and I'm from Turkey. We're from three different countries. It was hard to be together, but thanks to the University of Bologna, we met with each other and we are debating right now. And like this debate, there are multiple opportunities in our university, like Bologna Law Review. Other social activities are also possible. It is a good experience to study in Bologna. I suggest that. I recommend it.
Thank you very much. Miss Soldatelli or Mr. March?
I think I can complement what my colleague just said. Like she mentioned, it's an ancient university, so we're not short of history or things to study, I would say. And I think the university actually does encourage us to engage in many extracurricular activities or things that go beyond the classroom, like for moot courts, for example. We usually take part in those, or even the law review, like my colleague said. I'm an associate editor. I love it. I think it's one of the best opportunities I could have because we actually get to read many different papers and how the state of law is right now, right? Because it's always changing. Um, and even the course itself, the fact that we have contact with everyone from everywhere in the world, basically, I feel like it's such an interesting learning opportunity for us all that we have the privilege to have, But I would say that.
Thank you. And Mr. March wants to add something?
Yeah, I would just mirror what my colleagues are saying. The beauty about Bologna and its history is that since its inception, it's been a place, literally the word universitas, bringing people from different cultures and nations together. And then things like this debate competition. I did debate a bit in South Africa, but I was debating South Africans, and in a competition like this, I get to debate people from University of South Pacific, and I have to say this is even nicer because I'm a bit mesmerized here because there are some parts of your accent from the opposition that really remind me of home in Cape Town, which is very, very cool to hear. So I love these kinds of opportunities.
Thank you. Now, last question, and we'll ask one person of each team to answer because we have another match to start between Australia and United Kingdom in 15 minutes. So yes, one question, the last one. What would be a cliché that people they say about your legal system, country, or region where you come from, for example, that you would like to clarify or correct or nuance, let's say even. So I would like to give the floor to USP. So who wants to answer this question? So,
Apologies. Could you just repeat the question?
yeah, what would be a cliché about Fiji, for example, about your nation or country or your legal system that you would like to clarify your nuance, a cliché, something that people say about Fiji, maybe, that is maybe not true.
Or something people say about Fiji will not be true. What do people say?
Okay. I don't know if this is a misconception, but many people outside of the Pacific and outside of Fiji might perceive that customary law in Fiji dominates all aspects of governance. That is absolutely wrong. It is not true. Customary law in Fiji and the Pacific do exist, they are respected, but they only coexist with statutory or common law. So majority of our legal system is derived from the English common law. So whatever England passes or changes, it could apply to us as well. So that's one, I guess, one misconception about our legal system here in Fiji.
Okay.
That's all from my side.
Okay, thank you very much. Same question for the team in Bologna. So one misconception, one cliché that you like to clarify or correct concerning your legal systems. I know that you come from different countries. So maybe one about South Africa or Brazil or Turkey.
I think I can speak about the EU, which is our common denominator here. I would say that I think that there is this myth of the European Union bureaucracy, like as if we have a bunch of aliens in Brussels that have no contact with people whatsoever, and this is not true, I think all the regulations of the European Union, they take a long time to be passed, and they are passed for a reason, right? Which is why I think like the European Union has been offering the blueprint for many legal systems in the world. So I would say, do not believe the Brussels bureaucracy myth. It's better than it seems, and no legal system is perfect, but we're doing our best.
Okay, thank you. Yes, about the European Union, indeed. So many thanks. I would like to congratulate you for your 8th finals match, your round of 16 match, because that was really enjoyable to watch, to host as well. And I'm sure the judge as well will enjoy as well to watch and rewatch the match before sending us the results that we'll share with you and publish, obviously. And the winner of your match will be having a quarter-final match against the winner of the match, which just come in 10 minutes, so being between the University of Melbourne and King's College London. So that will be the next opponent for the winner of your current match. So well done, congratulations, and of course we keep in touch because there will be a thorough emails which will come as well to your way during the next days, and we encourage you to keep contact, of course, between the two teams, so between Fiji and Bologna. You never know, you might go to Fiji or to Bologna. I've been to the two places. I'm very lucky. So I have as well some cliches that I have to say we are not true about the two places, but I will not share them. So many thanks again, and we keep in touch. Many thanks on the audience as well. I see many people watching as well. So many thanks and bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, thank you.
Bye-bye.
See you. Bye bye.